Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Infinity here. I'm 25 years old now. I just had my birthday like 2 weeks ago, so it feels good to be here. And yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow here at G-Site.
Infinity, welcome again.
Thank you.
Guy that we already seen him a couple of times. I'm sure that it's not the first time you see this face, and it's not gonna be the last time you're gonna see this face. But I mean, might as well you're gonna introduce yourself a little bit for the public. We know you're from the house. He's from the G-Site training, and he has shown us so many things in G-Site training. Not only us as organizers of the events, but also the teammates that they're there. Also, the people that compete against them, they learn so many stuff from him. So please tell us a little bit of your story, where you're from, and we'll talk about a little bit more of the other things. But where you from, and how's life over here?
Oh, well, born and raised from here in McAllen. I love it here. I've been here pretty much my whole life. I've done quite a bit of traveling, and I enjoy that. But I would say, competitive wise, I've been doing this for a long time, since I was probably 12. Started with the Xbox, my cousin had it. I didn't even have my own. Eventually I got my own, in Black Ops 2. And as a kid, I got to compete early on in the Advanced Warfare days. That was probably some of the best times that I've had. But then, the age restriction came in. You had to be 18.
Of course.
So it put a pretty big hold on my competitive career. And I still played online, but, as I turned 18, I started to really jump into it. And
how has it been for you to be competing in the aspect of how's your experience? How do you feel this urge inside of you when you play? How has it changed over the time? Has it been the same as you started, or what's your experience nowadays?
Well, to be honest, I've always been a very competitive person. As a kid, I was in sports, basketball, football, always competitive. I always wanted to be the best. But when it came to gaming, I guess I started off pretty good, naturally. And I had no idea. I was a zombies kid. I didn't even play multiplayer. It was straight zombies. It was there.
It's a good, I guess it's a good, right? Like we can talk about the zombies. It's a good, relaxing way to, in a way, you practice.
Yeah,
you practice. You drop shot the zombies, and then you start doing the headshots because you have to. And I mean, I remember back in the day, and my favorite one was the World War zombies.
World at War? Yeah. That's where I first started. Yeah, I remember those. Knocked down Totem one, just built in the wall, just that little one. That was good.
And it brings me a little bit back to how something that as an element inside the video game, it was so entertaining. Now, I guess from my side, from my point of view, I see it as they started getting too complex in the zombies.
I agree.
And then we jump into multiplayer. I mean, because at the end of the day, it started getting more interesting in that aspect.
Yeah.
But all right, so has it changed? Has it changed?
Definitely. I mean, I'll go back to the Advanced Warfare days. It was a crazy competitive drive. I was playing all day, every day, with Roma at the barracks. I'd be there every single Saturday playing from open to close. We'd have lock-ins, and I took it extremely serious. As I got into high school, you know how it is. High school, you're having fun, you're partying. Gaming is there, but it wasn't the main thing. But as I turned 18, I took it very serious because of the traveling. I got to go to many different states, see different places that, I never would have thought I'd see. And, I had some great opportunities. So the competitive drive was always there. However, now, I'm 25. The competitive drive is definitely there, but just times, I haven't had as much time as I'd like.
I think it all comes down to timing, because when you were younger, you had less responsibilities.
Yes.
Now, I guess you're trying to think about your work, your studies, finish your studies, graduate and finish all that. How are you dealing with all that stuff? I mean, at the end of the day, he's super good. You're very good at the game.
Thank you.
How do you do that? Because and I say this because a lot of people will think, hey, you need to be playing or screaming for 8 or more hours, almost like a shift.
Yeah,
almost like a shift. And there's some here that they actually take it as a work. Yeah. How do you do it? I know you kind of share with us on private that you don't really play it as much, but you're still winning the tournaments. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, like I said, when I was competing, I was putting in the 8 hours, man. I was really, really putting in the time. I was putting in so much time. My hands, like, I had to take a break. I had to put a brace on for a while because I was starting to get the pains. Because you play claw, I play claw, so that's horrible. But now, as I've gotten older, I've tried to manage my time better with school, work, friends, family. And add in at least, you do want to definitely be putting in at the minimum 3, if you're going to take it very serious, but you have a lot of things, I would say 3 to 4 hours is good. Whenever you can squeeze that in, get that in. If you're going to be competing, like going to events, you want to do that at least every single day with your team. Talk to them, be like, hey, I'm out at 5. Can we get some matches going from 5 to 9, right? Or 10, if you got to be up early. That was usually my schedule. And I would say get good quality practice in those 4 hours that you are playing. Don't just go and play pubs or.
I like how you phrased it. I think it's very important. I do want to point that out that you just said quality training.
Yes.
I think nowadays for you it's like, yeah, I didn't play as much as before. I didn't train as much as the other times, but apparently from the things we're hearing, you already make up that time. You already went through it, and there's things that it hasn't changed. The kind of communication, adapting to the new sensitivity or the new movement, all that, it's always the factor. So for you, it's very simple in a way. The way I see it is, all right, you already know the elements that affect your gameplay. So you just go after it and you adapt. Sometimes you adapt to the gameplay in the tournament. That's crazy. That's crazy because, well, it sounds crazy, but it does happen because you already know what to do and you know what's going to be expected from your enemies.
Exactly.
So
and I would say, it's Call of Duty, right? It changes every single year, but the basics stay the same, right? Like you want to practice your centering, you want to practice doing the basics over every game. The main difference I would say is learning the maps, the guns. But that just comes with, put the quality time in, don't be wasting your time, I guess, playing pubs. It takes time to study the game, go over the maps. And question, right? What am I doing wrong?
Correct. All right. One of the questions that we have here is, out of all the games that we have available right nowadays, why did you pick Call of Duty? What is it that it hooks you aside of all the games that are available?
Honestly, like when I look back at it, definitely the fact that it's a first-person shooter, I think, is what draws everyone into it, right? But when I really look at it, I'm like, I think of the moments, right? Game 5, round 11, 1v1. There's nothing like that feeling, right? I played sports. I've done so many crazy, fun things. But the feeling you get when you clutch that 1v1, man, and you have the crowd watching you, it's the last match of the night. The energy is just crazy. But also, when you lose that 1v1, it's the worst. It's a bad.
We already seen Infinity play in a very uncomfortable situation. I remember the last event that we had. There was certain stuff with the system that it affected you, and we had to deduct a point. So at the final, at the stage that we were at the tournament, you were 1 point or 2 points, I don't remember, behind. And you managed from 21 kills. There you popped off and you just went crazy. How do you deal with that kind of stress? Because at the end of the day, I feel like this is more of a conversation, not how to play, but how do you manage your stress?
Well, I remember that event was amazing. By the way, you guys did a great job, but that event, that moment, I think I was down about 5 kills or 5 to 6 kills. And, I felt it, right? You're seeing on the scoreboard, you're like, oh man, the pressure's on. But it's in those moments where, you really you just got to put all the noise away or just focus on the game. And I was just like, okay, you know what? I got to a power spot and I took advantage of it, right? It helped me a lot. I got pretty much to the top. After that, I was just playing, just trying to catch up, right? Not trying to let it distract me like, oh, I'm 5 down. Because at that point, you can only play your game, right? You got to play your game. The other players, they're playing their own game as well. they know they only need 9, and I need like 15. So it's like, just focus on what you can do, right? Play the angles, play the headies, and if it comes out your way, it comes out your way. And thankfully that one came out my way, right?
Very tough situation, I do remember. And I mean, you managed to get it through. A lot of people couldn't make it. A lot of people thought that it was their opportunity to make it. But
Yeah.
I mean, all right, one of the things that I do want to show you, while I show you the picture, I want you to be describing what were you thinking at a point, what was going through your mind, what is the future, what is the past, and more and more like that. So here's the picture.
Yeah. That was a good moment. I mean, oh man, what a feeling. I love these moments. This is what I play for, really. I guess that event, I remember, I think that was the second event.
Yeah.
So I had won the first one. But winning that one really felt like, okay, like it felt, I would say, better. I was feeling definitely a lot of excitement. I was like, oh man, back to back, like that's pretty crazy, right? And just a lot of happiness, I put in the time for that one, and it felt good to pay off because, the competition at that one was very high, and to come out on top, it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good to win those.
You're one of the few persons that I think you're the only one that I actually know in person that is not necessarily your career. I don't think you live out of this kind of the gaming scene. But Infinity, you just show up to the tournament and pretty much cash out and leave and continue with your life. When would it be a moment where Infinity is going to consider, you know what, I'm going to stay here and gaming? And that's something that I want to promote. But as an individual, you said 26, right?
25.
Yeah. So as an individual, 25, you're already seeing more of the life. What's the world, the real world? And, you got to pay your bills. When would it be a perfect spot for Infinity to stay in the video games and just live out of this? What would it be?
I would say you would have to have mainly you can't just do it off of competing. You would have to, I think, get into the streaming game. And I did get into that. And I was, at a point where I was going to make that choice, right? The stream was going well, the subscribers were coming in, and I was having fun. I would say the streaming has to be there, right? You can't just do it off of competing. Unfortunately, just the money is not there, but try and get into the streaming game, the YouTube game, the socials like you guys do. And I think that would be the moment. Let's say this year, right? I really am considering trying to compete this year again and get back into the streaming game. So who knows? Maybe this could be the year that I get that moment, right? I get that moment again.
Hopefully we create enough events for you and start considering more of those things. Definitely, it's amazing moment to perceive how you've managed your life, how you navigate your life, because it's not easy. And I feel like a lot of people make your experience mad at a lot of people, because a lot of people spend so many time and they do big sacrifices, which I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree. And you're like, all right, this is the safe route, but you always keep your other foot on your dream. I mean, on video games,
of course,
you always try it. But what I'm trying to say is, like, there's people that they don't understand that part. Like, how do you do it? You just always come in clutch and you just make it. And I'm sure that it's a good hate in a way. It
is. It definitely feels good. And I guess I would say it really is a little bit of a natural thing, where I tell you, when I first picked up the controller, I was killing those zombies like nothing, and you feel it. But definitely with you guys hosting more events, I've seen the competition. I cannot be doing that, right? I'm like, okay, I gotta put in, give me the week or two, or maybe even a month, right? Because with the events you've been doing, you've been drawing some very good competition, which is amazing, and it helps the Valley grow. It helps competitive Call of Duty here. So I would say, yeah, I've been putting in some time.
And I know you mentioned at the beginning of the interview that it was just your birthday, And this is your gift. Just kidding.
Oh, I was like,
no, I know you went to Vegas and you were sharing a lot of stuff in Vegas. One of our dreams is to one day to actually host the event over there in Vegas. So hopefully you can join and you stick around. But anyway, hopefully this is gonna be your gift.
I hope
Eventually,
so.
You're gonna gift yourself a crown. Please share with us so the people in public can know your social medias. You want to share them?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Poundfinity, and my Twitch is Poundfinity6.
There you have it.
Hopefully, I'll be back. You know, I'm excited for this year. I think with G-Side and all of you guys doing here, I will be giving this year a shot. And
this is a person where you have to do the pay-per-view. This is a pay-per-view event. If you want to see him, you have to show up to the event. Because he's not very into the camera stuff and then the streaming. But when he shows up, he makes a show. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you very much for this interview. Infinity, thank you for coming, and hopefully you come in clutch, and hopefully you don't have any fouls in this event and you actually pull it off.
I hope so. I really hope I get this one in. And, you know, thank you guys for everything.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. This was the interview with Infinity.